from Washington, D.C., where we spent some cold days for President Obama's inaugurations in 09 and in 13. Roland Martin, my man.
Indeed. Tom Joyner.
We've been rolling, haven't we, Roland?
11 years on this show, first editor of BlackAmericaWeb.com, and so certainly it has been an amazing ride. Dallas, real quick, I'll see you guys on Saturday. AT&T Performing Arts Center presents Spike Lee. I'll be doing the Q&A, so looking forward to that.
Awesome.
So get your tickets for Saturday.
Nice.
On Sunday.
What time is that Saturday, Roland?
That's going to be at, it says here, 8 p.m.
Okay.
8 p.m. So I'll be doing the Q&A for Spike Lee. So looking forward to
nice.
that. Sunday, I flew into Dulles Airport, ran into my man John Murray, and we were going to pick up our bags. We're going to pick up our bags, and a young brother walks up to me, and he says, Mr. Martin, I got to ask you a question. He said, I listen to you. I support Roland Martin Unfiltered, but you call people dumbasses who did not vote in 2016. I didn't vote in 2016. Do you really mean that they're dumbasses? I looked him in his eye, and I said, yes.
No, you did.
Wow.
I said, but brother, let me ask you a question. I said, what is it do you care about? And so he began to tell me. I said, do you understand that a politician plays a role in everything that you just told me? I said, there is nothing in your life that politicians do not play a role in. I said, if you're driving down the street and you're pissed off because the roads are bumpy, there's a city council member or a county commissioner who is responsible for those roads. I said, if you're talking about education, if you're talking about health care, if you're talking about the environment, there's a politician who is responsible for that. I said, what I need you to understand is that I don't care if you believe that the politician is not perfect, is not perfectly aligned with you. I said, somebody is going to win. I said, if you sit on the sidelines and do not vote, you're doing a disservice to you. I said, Donald Trump wants you not to vote. In fact, Donald Trump thanked black people in 2016 for not voting. He literally said, thank you for not going to the polls. The Republicans can only win if there is a low voter turnout. Black folks, almost 2.5% lower turnout in 2016. I am not putting the loss of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump winning at the feet of black people, but I will say we played a role in that because folks decided to sit at home. Your power at home does nothing. Understand, this man represents, not just this man, but the party he leads represents a clear and present danger to the future of African Americans. Now, you listened to my voice for the last time, my commentary, but I need this to ring in your head for the next year because they are packing the federal courts. He has put on 20% of all federal judges. These are people who do not like civil rights, who do not like the issue with the environment, who do not like any of these things. They even had appointed judges who would not even affirm that Brown versus Board of Education was positively ruled. Understand what's going on. They support voter suppression. They do not want you to be able to vote in Georgia, in Texas, in Florida. You look at what's happening with Amendment 4. It passed by 67%. People are giving the people who formerly incarcerated the right to vote, but they were never going to let those 1.4 million people have their right to vote, and they're fighting that in the courts, even though Republicans and Democrats voted for it. Don't get fooled when Donald Trump says, oh, look how great things are for black people. Look at the unemployment rate. But the reality is there's a low-paying jobs. Look at wages. They're stagnant. Look at what's happening when you talk about the courts. Look at the fact that the black home ownership rate is still hovering around 40.5%, the lowest rate since 1968 when the Fair Housing Act was passed. He talked about opportunity zones, but whose opportunity? Who's got any of those opportunities? You look at what is happening, how they blocked the bill, the Future Act that will fund HBCUs, and they finally just passed an amended version of the House yesterday. Let me be perfectly clear. Donald Trump and his attorney general went before cops and said, we need to get rid of these progressive district attorneys, the ones who are freeing black men who are innocent with their crimes. You got a black man, Leroy Johnson, 25 years right now in Missouri. The prosecutor, the black woman who was elected in St. Louis St. Louis. She said he did not do it, but the Missouri Attorney General, who's Republican, says too late, even though the evidence shows that he has to stay in jail. Folks, y'all need to understand something. They want to be able to control the federal courts for the next 50 years. We will be a nation majority of people of color in 24 years. That means if they appoint a 35-year-old judge today, and that judge will be there for the next 50 years, they will be there for the next 24 years, an additional 26 years after that. You had better understand what's on the ballot next year. This man is a thug. This man is a crook. This man has no morals, has no values, has no principles. And the white conservative evangelicals like Paula White, who've been pimping black folks for all of these years, they stand with him because they do not care about any other issues. You don't see them talking about police brutality. You don't see them talking about the kids that are being caged on the southern border. You don't see them being real pro-life folks. The bottom line is this here, black folks. Not a single one of us should be sitting on the sidelines and saying, I'm not going to vote. And black men, let me tell you, the White House is after you. They want to get 15 to 18% of the black male vote. There was a 9-point gap between Obama and Romney in 2012. There was a 13-point gap between black men and black women who supported Hillary Clinton and Trump. And they say black men could offset black women because they're targeting you. And while they're sitting here touting the First Step Act, they're also telling the U.S. attorneys prosecute folks at their highest and overturning those rules put in place by Eric Holder. Everybody needs to understand this show has been emphasizing voting for 25 years, registering folks, but this is the time where black folks have to mobilize and organize. We cannot sit at home. And the reason I challenged that young brother, and when I was done, he thanked me, and we must do that with every single brother and sister and mama and daddy and niece and nephew, and let Republicans know, as my frat brother Vertner Woodson Tandy said, when it comes to voting, we will fight until hell freezes over, and then we will fight on the ice.
My man, Roland Martin.
The one and only.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Been a good run, man.
Indeed, folks. I certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
All right.
Thank you, Roland.
Yeah.